Here we go. Episode 70, the Big 7-0 Wrestling with the Business podcast. We got the varsity athlete, Jeremy, the no gimmicks, Matt, and all business, Dan, ready to go. Gentlemen, 70.
I feel old. I feel really
We're getting
old.
up there.
Shut your mouth.
I did not think we'd make it this far,
We
guys.
should have done a highlight series because we had so many of them.
We wouldn't do that to Lily, poor girl, having to dig through all that BS.
We got a lot to go over tonight. Drama in AEW Grand Slam in Australia. Jeremy's going to break that down for us. Michael Cole making some interesting comments on the Logan Paul podcast about Corey Graves and WWE not in the wrestling business. Okay.
News to me.
TNA leadership changes happened right after we went off the air last week. We're going to talk about that. And, of course, Elimination Chamber coming up, so we're going to go over all of our thoughts. Let's cue that intro. All right, and we're back. Guys, we're going to go right into Michael Cole on the Logan Paul podcast. I'm not sure if his podcast has an official name. So I'm just calling it the Logan Paul
Impulsive.
podcast. I knew. You know what? I knew that.
Impulsive.
Thank you, Steve, our producer, Steve. I knew that.
Steve? Whatever.
He got in right before you said
Oh, whatever.
it. But yeah, so on Logan Paul's show, Michael Cole, which, he was on the Pat McAfee show a week ago, WrestleMania, right after WrestleMania. He has some interesting takes. He really knows how to break down the business of professional wrestling, WWE, but he made some interesting comments. We'll start with the WWE not in the professional wrestling business anymore. They're more entertainment, which we've all known that. It's
said that for
WWE,
years.
World Wrestling Entertainment. We've known that for a while, but to say you're not a
it's
pro wrestling...
Wrestling entertainment.
I mean, what do you guys think?
Are we trying
here?
to split the baby here?
I
think that was a good line back when they had WWE Productions and they were making movies and reality TV and whatever else. Now they basically just do wrestling shows. Kind of hard to call yourself just an entertainment company.
I don't know. I mean, they're branching out, right? They're doing that new show with A&E.
LFG.
LFG, thank you. They're doing that new. That's more kind of modern reality. They still pump out a lot of documentaries, right? With A&E, especially like the biography stuff that they were putting out. I mean, I think calling it entertainment is a little generous because honestly, even some of the stuff I'm not particularly interested in. I think we talked offline last week, actually, slightly related to this, about Dark Side of the Ring. The new season's coming out season 6, I think. Mm-hmm. And I'm reading through the list and I'm like, can't wait to see how they make this stuff controversial, because when you come off of the plane ride from hell and all of the other stuff from the early seasons, it's like, how do you make some of these things
Eventually, you're going to run out of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, and I kind of think that that's what's happening now, like, especially with their relationship with A&E. I mean, remember that they did the Hidden Treasures thing, where they're looking through cool pieces of merchandise and talking about history. Rivals. All of the old performers now all have their own podcasts, or they're on everybody else's podcasts, or they have their own one-man show, if you're The Undertaker. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, I guess they're in the entertainment business, but I don't think that it's very entertaining. I don't know. Maybe that's my problem.
Look,
I mean, the product itself is entertaining, but like all the ancillary stuff that they do, like, I don't care about hidden gems.
I think what it comes down to is, what's the definition of entertainment?
Fair enough.
And really, like, let's be honest. The business of wrestling is entertainment. I mean, it's entertainment. I don't care what you want to call it. You can call it sports, obviously, but it's entertainment. You're entertaining your consumers. You're entertaining your audience. So for Michael Cole to sit there and say, we're not professional wrestling, we're not wrestling, we're entertainment. That's okay. First off, yes, you are entertainment, but you're getting your entertainment from wrestling. You are a wrestling promotion that's in the entertainment business. Look, WWE's all over the place. Mega deals with Netflix, mega deals with Peacock, mega deals with NBC Universal. They're obviously in the entertainment business, right? They're signed with all the major distributors in the media and entertainment world. Okay, obviously they're entertainment, but they are wrestling. Don't forget come on, Michael Cole. Don't forget, you're in the wrestling business. It's why you guys are where you are now. To say that you're not, you can say you're entertainment. That's fine, but don't say you're not.
No,
wrestling.
Here's what he's saying. Let me translate this for all you out there. Here's what he's really saying. Yes. Let me translate this to English for you, okay? Here's what he's saying. If our performers are old, if they're fat, if the commentary is garbage, if you don't like the quality that you see inside the ring, don't blame us. We're not a wrestling company. We're entertainment. We're here to talk about story.
Yeah.
So if you don't like the quality of the wrestling product that you're getting, we're not offering wrestling. So it's your fault if you don't like what's happening out there. That's on you.
Well, that's
just opening up a back door to the
Well,
company.
but that's a classic WWE statement and vision. But how can you say it's not wrestling?
I mean, I think
They're literally in the ring. I mean, how can you not say?
Here's what he's saying: don't watch us for the wrestling. Wrestling is a conduit through which we tell our story.
The way you worded
but
that,
we could just as easily make it about football, basketball, baseball, trying to make it on Broadway, being in a band. You could take wrestling out and you could replace it with anything else, and it would be almost the exact same product.
the way he worded that sounded exactly like how WWE would say it.
Yeah.
Exactly to the T.
That's exactly what.
And
they're
that's
saying.
why I mean,
wrestling doesn't mean anything. It's just a conduit.
But their overall scope is just getting way too. Are they getting ahead of themselves? Like, relax and come back to. Don't forget where you are. I mean, look. Again, we talk about what's the definition of entertainment. I mean, they are obviously in the entertainment. I have no problem with him saying they're in the entertainment business. Not a problem. Where I have an issue with it is saying that you're not in professional wrestling. You're in professional wrestling, but you're also in the business of entertainment. You can't say you're not. They're the same. Both of them work. You can't say you're professional wrestling and not. We're not entertainment. We're professional wrestling. Well, that's entertainment. So they both both coincide with each other, in my opinion.
I mean, when's the last time that WWE put on? And you both tell me. I want to know. When's the last time that they put on a match that was a really good match?
Well,
Match where you're like, holy shit, that was a good. Well, okay, what was the last one?
I mean,
when was the last?
I'm just gonna look at. Oh, you go, man.
I don't know if it was the last one, but the first one that came to my head was Sasha Banks versus Bayley at NXT Brooklyn.
2016? Yeah, 2015. I mean, you got to go back years. I mean, I'm thinking of, was it 2 WrestleManias ago, the triple threat, McIntyre, Gunther, and Sheamus.
Yep,
that was a good match. That was the last match that I was like, that was a good freaking match. Good story, not a whole lot of background, not a whole lot of actual storyline associated with it, but a good in-match psychology. And that was almost 3 years ago now.
I mean, I honestly can't say there's a match that comes to my. I really can't think of one.
And Michael Cole,
but that's not that. But to me, that's not the definition if it's wrestling or not.
Michael Cole's trying to excuse that. What he's trying to say is, yeah, but wrestling's not really our thing, so it's okay if we don't put on good
the first thing
matches.
that comes to your mind would be a story.
Right. I know more of the stories than I know.
Which is totally fine. But even that, I mean, I guess the bloodline, some of the early bloodline stuff maybe comes to mind as some of the more recent stuff that's come up. But the stuff that's going on right now, even storyline-wise, this like Punk, Rollins, whatever, this chase for WrestleMania opportunities and stuff, people aren't excited about that. That's not getting people. The fact that Yeet won the Royal Rumble, like, that disappointed the fan base. I don't know.
That wasn't the only thing Michael Cole had to say on the Logan Paul podcast. He talked about Corey Graves and the situation we just had a couple weeks ago where Corey Graves went on social media and made some comments in regards to Pat McAfee taking over the main spot on Raw. This is what he said. He goes, "That's a strange situation. I love Corey, love him to death. I still don't understand all the dynamics of it. I know that he sent something out on social media that was pretty critical of the company. He tried to explain it to everyone that he was trying to curate some interest in maybe a type of storyline. I don't think the company saw it that way. I think him and the company are working it out." First off, that's a very political statement. Michael Cole knows exactly what's going on.
He's he's one of the new faces of WWE.
So apparently something went out. He knows exactly what went out. I mean, so Michael Cole, great way of throwing it off. He's a great way of explaining it. But I mean, and obviously trying to put a spin on it now that Corey Graves, clearly he was upset. I think we all can understand. Clearly it was not. It was clearly him explaining and venting his frustration on social media that he got booted from the #1 job on Raw for Pat McAfee. He was clearly upset.
It's a new age, man. Corey Graves represents yesterday's product. Pat McAfee and Logan Paul represent today's product. And I Show Speed represent today's product. And I mean, he's not taking too well to getting nudged out. I guess maybe it was a shoot that he realized a little too late was inappropriate, and he's trying to turn it into a work to save his own ass.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, the way Michael Cole explained it, Corey Graves just went on his own and said this without telling anyone that it was a work.
Or
that
maybe
doesn't seem like.
And he tried to explain to everyone that he was trying to curate some interest in maybe a type of storyline.
Then you should have cleared that first
Which
before
could
you
have
did
been,
it.
honestly, could have been an interesting storyline. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a big fan of those type of ring ones.
There's no payoff if they're not going to get in the ring, and there's no guarantee Corey will ever be in the ring again.
I just have such a hard time believing that WWE does not have a tight enough grip on their talent to prevent something from like that happening. You want me to believe that that's going to leak, and yet all these contract details and all this behind-the-scenes drama stuff, it all ends up being a work in the end. And I'm supposed to believe that this isn't a work? I don't know.
And here's how he ended it. He goes, "I love Corey to death. He's an unbelievable commentator. Besides Pat McAfee, he's probably the best partner I've ever had." So if that's the truth, no.
Poor JR. Where's JR? JR's like, what the hell, man?
No. But outside of that, if Michael Cole is really saying that, Michael Cole has some pull at WWE, why is he not on one of the main shows then?
Well,
if that's really truly the case,
I don't think Michael Cole is, because Michael Cole used to be like the head of commentary or whatever.
He's like
he used to
VP
oversee
or something.
That
He's like vice president.
I don't really think he does that.
No, I think he's high. He has like a big title.
I'll look it up
I
right
know
now.
they gave him a big title, and I know he used to like directly oversee all of the commentary.
I think he still does.
But if you think about who's in the commentary booths now, it's like Booker T.
Well, I've never liked Booker T.
Corey
Wade Barrett.
Graves.
Wade Barrett's actually pretty good.
Wade Barrett. It's like X-talent, though, is what I'm getting at. It's like it's mostly, I say X-talent, X-wrestling talent.
Right.
He is the vice president of announcing since 2020.
Yeah, I don't know that he.
So Michael Cole had a say in
To
Corey
your
Graves
point-
getting booted down.
To your point, which just lends this to be even more of a work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corey went, well, wouldn't it be really cool if I did this? And he probably went, let's see what happens. Throw a tweet out there. It can't hurt anything. And it didn't go over really well. It didn't do what they wanted it to do, or they decided not to pursue that storyline. And now Cole is using Impulse. Don't tell me he didn't get those questions in advance.
Yeah.
Now he's using his appearance on Impulsive to back the truck up a little bit. So, yeah, the whole thing's a work. This is the Truman Show. Get used to it, people.
And we're back. TNA making some leadership changes. It was announced right after we went off the air last week, so we weren't able to talk about it. But TNA got rid of their president, their VP senior producer, and their head of social media. Josh Matthews had been there for a very, very long time. He was like senior producer or something in the back. They got rid of
the
him.
Michael Cole of TNA.
Was he still announcing though? They kind of imply. I mean,
you watch it more often than me.
And I haven't watched it in a while, so I don't know.
We're gonna say yes.
I got rid of my Impact Wrestling subscription. So
And
I was
then,
gonna ask about that.
And then Christy Hemme gone, head of social media for TNA.
I didn't know
she's
was
gone.
back
And
in
then
the
Anthony Ciccione, their
That's
president.
not how you say that.
I know we talked about this for like 5 minutes on how to say the last name.
Ciccione.
I'm going with that version. If it's wrong, it's wrong.
Tony Ciccione. Ciccione.
Lily's like, give me all the syllables to say, and I was like, nope, not doing it. Gonna botch it. So
We'll do it live. We'll do it live.
Anthony was president, became president February 2024. So he's only really had the job for about a year.
After D'Amore left.
Took over Scott D'Amore.
Yep. So he's gone. So
Man, that's been a year already. Jeez.
yeah, gone.
January.
Now they bring in this new guy, Carlos Silva, is now the new president for TNA. I'm not quite sure what his background is. Was he with TNA before? I tried to look him up, couldn't get any information on it. But he's
The name
named the new
does sound
TNA
familiar, though.
president, and as they continue to do rebranding efforts for TNA. So interesting there. George Veras, 10-time Emmy Award winner and CEO of the Pro Football Hall of Fame Enterprises, has been appointed executive producer of Anthem Sports Group, a division that oversees TNA. And he wants to they want TNA wants him to bring in his own group, which is why Chrissy Hemme's gone, Josh Matthews gone. It wasn't like, hey guys, we can give you something else to do. You just can't be part of the team. You're out. We're bringing in new. So it had nothing to do with their work product. Had nothing to do with their job performance. It was more of they wanted this new George Veras. I'm sure I'm saying his last name wrong. They wanted him to come in with his own team to help brand
It's the same
TNA.
thing they did when they got rid of Scott D'Amore. They didn't want him to do it anymore. That Anthem wanted to bring in their own people, all non-wrestling people, and now they're just doing the same thing over again.
And it's in, you want to go?
You cannot tell me that this is not related to the WWE agreement.
Oh, for sure.
It is not an accident that, yeah, but when they do shit like this, when they announce this stuff 2 months after the deal breaks, they want to make it look like the two are unrelated to each other instead of having it all happen at once and have it be this big conspiracy theory. They want to put 40 to 60 days in between the inciting incident, which is the signing of the agreement with WWE, which is basically like, here, WWE, allow me to drop trow and bend over this barrel for you, which is essentially what's going on right now. That's essentially what this is.
I completely disagree with you on that whole. How does this? Okay,
TNA is going to get the shaft big time. The best thing that can happen for them is they can get swallowed by WWE, and everybody gets a big payday for it.
First off, I did a video that's coming out this week on it, and what I thought was going on in TNA, so I won't go into too much about that. But this is definitely, we've talked about the negatives of AEW week after week after week. There's clearly a spot on the chart, number 2, that TNA is trying to go for. They're following what WWE did. WWE brought in the new guy, Lee Fitting, who had a big TV background for production. WWE brings him in. He takes WWE, revamps all their production, all the new angles we've seen, the flyovers, all the new ring, everything. Okay, he did a great job doing that. This is definitely TNA trying to mirror that and do an all-in production revamp. I mean, across the board. We talked about a couple weeks ago on this show about how they're putting in a ton of money into new staging, new lighting, new production stuff. Now they're bringing the team in.
And more travel.
Okay, they got some decent talent going on over there. They just brought the Hardy Boy back, which is, by the way, going on WWE television this week, apparently, on NXT, I believe.
Yep.
And
shocker.
So, I mean, clearly TNA guys going to WWE, they're getting the views. People are looking at them. Maybe they get interested in them. They go back and they watch TNA. I don't see anything wrong with that. I think TNA gets even more bonus if WWE shows up at their show. So clearly TNA is following a lot of WWE's direction, and I think it's very clear that they want to put themselves possibly number 2 on the map of wrestling promotions, which I don't think is a bad thing. The competition across the board is great. It's why wrestling is back to being great. AEW coming back into the business or launching.
Yeah, saved it.
It really saved wrestling. So I don't think there's anything wrong with TNA being like, hey, you know what? We changed our name back to TNA. We cleared up. We put a lot of money into our budget. We want to now be a top promotion, or at least a top 2 promotion. Are they even 3? Would you call them 3?
Yeah, they're
they're
number
solid.
3 in America. Absolutely.
I mean, a head and shoulders above NWA, which is probably.
But I mean, okay, everywhere. Would you call them number 3? Do you think they're like
within the United States? Yeah.
Within United
Internationally,
States.
it gets crazy once you get below WWE.
But I think I tell you now, I think they get some resources from WWE, and I really think they can make a push for number 2. I mean, what do you think? I mean, is that possible? I mean,
it's totally possible with the way AEW is sitting right now with their ratings and everything. Sure.
We are years and years away from that happening without a massive injection of cash and support from WWE, though. Like, it takes time. You have to make investments and then wait for those investments to come back. The only way that you could get that kind of, like, quick reaction within, like, the next 6 months to 12 months is just a huge injection of cash and support from WWE.
What are the kind of ratings TNA's getting on Access?
I'm looking right now. So
Not
right
very
now,
good.
all
I mean, it
through
was like-
2024, 112,000,
Yeah.
102, 85,000,
When I watched-
92,000.
When
Until
I
that
watched, it
gets
was in
up-
the 80s.
Until
Yeah.
that gets up to 500, 600,000.
I would even give them 300,000. They can get to if they can get to 300,000, they're clearly making some ground. I mean,
sure.
clearly making some ground.
You can't. You need to have the money to make the investments. Somebody has to give them the money. I don't know what we don't know what the specific arrangements with the WWE contract are, but unless I can't help but imagine WWE is this anglerfish waving this bright light of cash and exposure in front of them, and then as soon as you go for the bright light, they jump out and they eat you. That's the only thing that I can picture right now. So I imagine that this is WWE luring them in with exposures to talent, thinking that it's going to help, and then it really doesn't, and then before you know it, WWE's influence. Oh, this guy's not working out. We'll let you use our talent relations guy. Oh, this guy's not working out. Oh, we'll let you borrow one of our executive producers. Oh, this guy's not working out. We'll help you with this person with talent relations and contract management. And then before you know it, you're 30%, 40% WWE, and they're like, sure would be nice if we could give you a few million bucks for that promotion you got there. And now all of a sudden, it's not TNA anymore. I don't think there's any way that TNA ends up being number 2, because by the time you get that big, WWE is going to see you as a threat, and they're going to buy you. And you're just going to become another appendage.
So I will say real quick on some notes. There's 3 episodes in 2024 where they're over 100,000. All of them are after an NXT pay-per-view.
That's an interesting correlation.
So the last one, for example, was September 5th, 2024, 110,000. It was after post-NXT No Mercy.
That's an interesting correlation.
So interesting.
Could be accidental.
Well, I think they had some guys over it. Weren't they wrestling? Didn't they have some people over at NXT for No Mercy?
I'd have to.
I don't know what the
remember.
card was. I couldn't tell you.
Did
they have some
remember.
people wrestling there or no?
I don't remember.
Don't
But I would be surprised. I mean, my whole theory with this contract is that it's going to be all give and no take for TNA. That there's going to be a lot of like, we're going to put Joe Hendry in the Royal Rumble and it's really going to help you guys. But that's not the way that it works. Like, nobody's going to be like, oh, that Joe Hendry guy who I just saw for 2 minutes at the Royal Rumble looks interesting, so now I'm going to tune into Access TV or I'm going to subscribe to the Impact app. Like, that's not how it works. So, but now if WWE people actually start showing up, like if AJ Styles actually starts showing up on Impact, then okay, yeah, like that's going to draw some eyeballs to you.
Yeah,
but
they've had NXT people over there, which might have drawn a few eyes, but until they get a big WWE main roster name, it's not going to make a huge difference.
And let's be honest, you put Jordan Grace on your show, and she got signed by WWE. Like, that's exactly what happened. They waved the bright light. They saw Jordan Grace, they liked her, then they scooped her up. And that's exactly what's going to happen right now. They're just going to use it as a farm team to develop whatever talent they want or figure out who's best and then scoop them up. So,
but
I can't help but wonder. My conspiracy theory hat's on right now. I wonder if we were to pull on all the threads, how many of this new TNA leadership has some sort of association with WWE or TKO or something like that. I can't help but wonder.
All that being said, them trying to be number 2 isn't a bad thing.
No, that should be their goal to be. I mean, their goal should be to be number 1.
Absolutely.
I mean, that really. I mean, there's
as long as they don't sell out what made TNA great.
Right.
If they start selling out,
yeah, that's my concern about the whole WWE partnership is they won't be TNA anymore.
Yeah, WWE is going to say, you want to be successul? Be more like us.
They need to bring back the 6-sided ring.
That was a bitch to wrestle in.
Yikes.
That was a bitch to wrestle in.
All right, now let's move on to some AEW talk. Big old show happened this past week. AEW Grand Slam Australia. I say big show, but there was some no more BS. There was some controversies with this show stemming from ticket sales, moving to a smaller arena after originally going for a stadium. The ring size, even just sizes all over, were disputed left and right for this show. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
The ring was a different size?
It was tiny, dude. It was a small ring.
You said it's 16. I thought it was an 18.
It looks like a 16.
What is it supposed to be?
20.
They use a 20 like WWE.
Pearl.
I did notice watching the show. I did notice the smaller ring, but it wasn't that big of a factor to me. I thought it was just an 18, which I think they usually do when they're out traveling. But
yeah, there's some controversy over that too. Like, what ring do they actually use when they're international? Like,
so what's the thought process for changing the ring size?
So, the theory going around the internet right now is that Tony Khan or somebody at WWE fucked up getting
WWE?
the ring. Sorry, AEW fucked up getting the ring transferred. Like, WWE buys rings and hides them around the globe.
Right.
Just puts them in storage so that whenever you go to wherever, you just pull the ring out and put it together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they don't go international that. AEW doesn't go international that much. So the theory was that they bought a ring that they keep in storage as a backup, and they put it on a boat. Well, they timed it bad, and it's still sitting on a boat, or it couldn't get through customs, or whatever. So now they're standing in the middle of this ring, or this stadium, arena the day before they're supposed to start the show, and they don't have a ring. So they tap Kyle Fletcher on the shoulder, and they say, hey, Kyle, we really need a ring bad. Can you call your buddies in Sydney 30 minutes down the road and see if they
local promotion?
So they had a local promotion haul ass with a ring up there, and apparently it even wasn't set up right. If you look at it, you can see the uprights are actually bent in, and the rope tape doesn't look right. So they actually had the amateur set up the ring.
It sounded different, too, when they were taking bumps.
It sounded different, and it didn't sound – it sounded more hollow.
It wasn't as – it didn't reverberate as much.
Yeah, it didn't have the same kind of sound, which it's a smaller ring, so it's not going to have quite the same sound. And the worst part of the whole thing wasn't even that, because that was fine. That didn't really impact the show too much. The worst part was when people started noticing and calling him out, the company just started gaslighting everybody. Sort of, no, everything's fine. No, there's nothing weird about it at all. There's nothing weird about it.
QT Marshall said it was the standard size ring or whatever.
After the match, Buddy Matthews went on X and tweeted something like, oh, the ring's full size, and yet I turned my ankle. I had ankle trouble on it, and we had all these issues. And then 5 minutes later, pulls the tweet down.
Yeah.
So it's just the gaslighting. It's they gaslit everybody going into the event about whether it was going to be the biggest thing in the world. Then it wasn't. They had to move venues, and then they acted like everything happened the way that it was supposed to. They gaslit everybody when it was like, oh, we can't fill a stadium, so we don't want it to be a PLE. So we're going to move it to Collision. Tony Khan came out and was like, no, that was the plan the whole time. The whole plan was that we were going to go all the way to Australia to basically shoot a Collision show. So they gaslit us on that. And now they're gaslighting us over the ring size. Like, no, guys, this is a 20 by 20. It's totally normal. There's nothing weird about this at all. I mean, it's just gaslight after gaslight after gaslight.
Matt, what is going on over there?
I don't deal with the backstage stuff.
I don't
know.
get it. They can't get anything right. It's just like, if I'm Tony Khan, I'm sitting there going, I'm on this road and I just can't get off it.
I mean, but this is the problem, is he keeps doubling down on the bad decisions, because you could easily go, yeah, it's a 16 by 16 ring, and look at the show we put on. It doesn't matter. We are all elite. It doesn't matter what kind of ring you put us in. We can knock a home run out. It doesn't matter the size of the bat. We're gonna hit a home
How can you
run.
not have a ring for? I don't care what the logistics are. How can you not have a ring for the show?
That's what he was really trying to avoid addressing. Is he didn't want to go, oh, we fucked up. We fucked. He didn't want to address that. So instead of just being like, yeah, there was a mistake and we still hit it out of the park.
I'm half tempted to pull it up right now and to see a clip and to see how stupid it looks.
It doesn't look stupid.
It doesn't look bad.
It just looks small.
It really didn't affect any of the matches noticeably.
It's nice to have more room to work. It's safer, but it's not like really bad or anything like that. So that's the thing. It's like you take this little tiny thing and it gets blown up into this massive.
A casual fan wouldn't have noticed the difference. We only noticed because we watch this for a living.
For example, let's talk about the ticket sales for a minute, okay? You have to move venues. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
It was 30 minutes away. If you're a big AEW fan, yeah, you don't want to take an Uber 30 minutes outside of the city and back, but whatever, you're willing to do it. But if you are first in line and you're paying arena PLE pricing for ringside tickets, thousands of dollars conceivably, and then you get moved into this little tiny venue and you see that people are getting 2-for-1 ticket deals, okay? And Tony Khan or somebody from the organization doesn't call you and go, hey, listen, we know what happened. We don't want you to feel like you're getting screwed. We had to move venues. It's smaller now. We're giving away tickets at cheaper prices. Let's offer you something, a meet and greet, some merchandise, something. But none of that. They just completely ignored that it ever even happened.
No, this is how it was always supposed to be.
No, this is how. So they can't admit that they need to offer anybody anything else for extra value, because that would mean admitting that they fucked up and that everything isn't perfect. It's like, literally, they're like the meme of the dog standing in the fire being like, I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Careful, you're getting into
It doesn't look that bad. I'm looking at the ring now. It's not terrible.
No, it's noticeable.
It's really not noticeable.
You can see it.
Honestly, if you didn't tell me, I don't think I would have noticed.
No.
Yeah, I think if you looked at the two
But I've
pictures
never
next
been
to
in the
each
ring,
other,
so.
I think if you looked at the two pictures next to each other, you'd be like, yeah, that ring's smaller. But it shouldn't affect the quality of the product. But because they keep doubling down on the lie after the lie after the lie after the lie after the lie, it just becomes so ridiculously obvious that you're.
So on top of that stuff, a couple other smaller things that happened. It started late because the NBA All-Star game, 20 minutes late. You said they weren't even announcing it as Grand Slam until 10 minutes before the show.
No, I originally logged on HBO to watch it, and it kept being like, your program's about to start. So finally, after like 15 minutes, I switch over to actually watch TNT to see what's going on, to see if the All-Star festivities went late or whatever. Yeah, it did, and they did an advertisement for Collision. Hey, in 5 minutes, Collision's going to start.
Yeah.
So if I was, a 10% less fan or whatever, and I didn't actually know it was going to be Grand Slam, I'd be like, I'm not going to tune in.
Okay, it seems like there's a lot of logistics going on here that just don't make any sense. Number one, okay, so it was a Saturday night show. Was it on TNT or was it on HBO Max?
Both. They simulcast.
So it wasn't. They were late because they couldn't control it because of the All-Star game.
Of course, yes.
Right.
Okay, normal. Okay, that explains that.
And the commercials leading up to that all said right after NBA All-Star.
Watch Collision.
Right.
Okay, so someone at Warner Brothers,
like previous days, they were calling it Grand Slam.
Yeah.
So Warner Brothers just didn't care and didn't change the graphics.
I mean,
that's not AEW's fault. That's Warner Brothers just not changing the.
Not only did they not change the graphics, but they didn't change the one-paragraph script that the guy reads. He read up after this.
The NBA commentator.
Yes, and they didn't even change the script. Like, it's
what is going on?
It's like everybody
I don't get it.
Doesn't want this to succeed. It's like everybody.
All this right here symbolizes why they have 600,000 people that watch their show.
Despite that, they still pulled, I think, 502,000.
505,000.
Yeah.
I just
at 11 o'clock at night on a
It's
Saturday.
not terrible. It's
And
also a pay-per-view.
And it's their third biggest gate with about at least 1.3 million.
Yeah, I mean, they had
ticket sales.
Listen, the fans forgave them. I had an epiphany in the middle of this match, and this is the lesson. And I'm going to be quick. Watch the Wednesday short that I did. If you want more details
Was it
on
not
it,
short?
I want to get. It was kind of long, but I want to get your take on it because I have finally struck gold. I've discovered the mystery that we have been talking about for months now about why AEW sucks. And
we can't wait to hear this.
And this
this gets my attention.
Sucks is a little harsh.
This is the realization that I came to. This is it, and I want you to tell me what you think. Tony Khan has not learned the most important lesson in professional wrestling entertainment, and that is this. A bad match with a great ending is a good match. A great match with a shitty ending is a shitty match. And if you don't book understanding that principle, everybody is going to leave every match unsatisfied. WWE knows that you can put two idiots in the ring and they can put together a lackluster match. But if the good guy gets over when the good guy's supposed to get over, or if the bad guy gets over when the bad guy's supposed to get over, there's going to be catharsis. And everybody's going to be happy.
That's interesting. I'll have to go back and really look at some AEW matches to see that because I don't watch the product.
Fuck it up all the time. He'll tell you they'll send somebody into their hometown and they'll have them lose on a dusty finish.
Usually they've been good about that in the past, but lately, yeah, they have been fucking that up. To go along with that, hang on one second.
Since Wardlow started it.
Five matches on this show. All five of them had an Australian or a New Zealander in it, and of all the matches, the only Australian that won was Tony Storm in the main event.
When Cope came out at the show, okay?
Oh, that was so cool.
They loved him. They sang Metalingus after the music cut. They sang Metalingus for him. He was loving it. He was in tears. How does the match end? They submit Edge in the middle of the match.
And he's the number one contender.
At AEW Revolution in 3 weeks, he's going to go up against Moxley for the belt. And they cut his balls off. Like, that's the kind of stuff. Like, that is not... There were, except for the Tony Storm win at the end, there were no pops at the end of the match. Okay. None.
So, first off, you got to have an ending. Okay? You got to have an ending. You go back and watch any. I can think of all WWE matches. They all had great endings. Rather it was Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-view, stupid show, not even on TV. They all have great endings. I can't say that about AEW. I'll have to go back and look at some of them. That's an interesting point. It seems like you're probably spot on with it. Number two, not only about the bad end, about not having an ending. It's about writing. It's about storytelling. Okay, that shouldn't have happened. I'm sorry, Cope. That shouldn't have happened to Cope.
Yeah, it's not a good story.
But it's not about the ending, though. It's also about not telling a good story. A guy who you're fighting for the championship in 3 weeks should not be in a submission 3 weeks before. It's horrible storytelling.
Yeah.
It's horrible storytelling.
Now, I will say this.
I think the one match the crowd was happy about, though, was the curtain jerk with Ospreay and Omega going over.
And that's because
they were booing Fletcher, even though he's from Australia.
But what happened there? They let the match go for 25 minutes.
No match should ever. I'm sorry. No match should ever be 25 minutes.
I mean, that was Ospreay got a great pop. Fletcher got a good pop. Yes, he got booed, but he's the local guy. Of course, Kenny Omega. They put on a good show. I mean, everybody in the ring's extremely talented and capable, and it went for 25 minutes. And it's just too much of a good thing. And I got bored, and I started getting go-away heat out of me because I was like, fuck you. Get out of here. I'm done. Mm-hmm. I can't see this anymore. No more near falls. Yeah,
Bad storytelling. Sorry. It's Tony Khan. I'm sorry. Tony Khan doesn't understand what his role is. Be an owner. Go out and be a TV personality. We've talked about this last week. Go out and be visible to your internet, but don't do content. Don't do storytelling. Yeah. Find a professional. Find somebody in the business
that knows,
that understands what goes into a good show and a good story, and put them in charge of writing. Road Dogg Jesse James just got.
Yeah, he just got a new.
Just co-lead for SmackDown. Wrestler, Triple H, wrestler. Put some wrestlers.
There's a guy.
Nobody can see that.
Oh, sorry. Here's a guy that you could use easily. You could hire Al Snow in. He'd come in, and he would save the business.
What was his slogan?
Hang on.
What does everybody want?
Help me.
No, that's what Matt said.
Yeah.
You're not ending it for the right thing, but
I mean,
this is a family show.
This is
fucking
just,
A.
This is why they're failing. And now that I like the Matrix, now that I see it, I can't look away, and it's everywhere. So watch the product in the next week. Let us know next week what you think. But I got to tell you, I don't think I'm going to be able to ever unsee it again. Every time that now the match work inside the match, the storytelling, like the match psychology, is very good because the talent is in control of that. Nobody's micromanaging every single spot that they're making.
Right.
But the overarching stuff that they're doing, I can't wait until we see some of the big storylines the way that they end. Like when they had MJF go away, the great Adam Cole MJF, Bebe, and then they had him lose and disappear for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great match with a great story with a shitty ending. And it just kind of...
It killed the whole thing.
It just kind of pittered away, right?
Yep.
It just kind of disappeared into nothingness. They could have gotten another year out of that storyline. It was so good. Nope. Anyways.
Well, comment down below. Let us know what you thought of Grand Slam and if these controversies bothered you at all. And tell us if you think Jeremy's right, too, with his assessment of AEW.
Give us a like if you do.
Jeremy's never right.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Are we live?
Elimination Chamber.
No.
We're talking about Elimination Chamber.
That
it's Elimination
was horrible.
Chamber
That's the most wonderful time of the year?
That's your singing voice?
No, it's not my actual singing voice.
It's actually worse.
Wow. Shots fired. I don't need to take this. I actually really do. Okay. Elimination Chamber time. Elimination Chamber's coming up March 1st. It's in Toronto. Another Elimination Chamber internationally. But we're not going to talk about that here. We're going to talk about the card. A massive 4-match card this time, okay, which I believe is the second, right? Royal Rumble was only 4 matches as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's run through it really quick. First, we're going to talk about non-Elimination Chamber matches. All right. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens in an unsanctioned match.
I don't care how many times they do it. These matches are always good because they've been doing it for years. I'm looking forward to that. I know who's going to win, but I'm looking forward to it.
Who's going over?
Owens.
Owens.
Yeah, Owens can't lose another one.
And Sami Zayn just seems to be the punching bag of the WWE.
He's always been the underdog, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the issue I've had with the Kevin Owens storyline. What they're doing with him right now, I like. They're making him his storylines are real. They're making so putting him up against Cody Rhodes right from the beginning. It basically almost kind of ruined all the momentum that Kevin Owens is building up. We're going to put you against the undisputed world champion right off the bat, and you're going to. Of course, he's going to lose. So now, you have Kevin Owens and this great storyline character he's developing as one of the top heels in the company, destroying Randy Orton and anyone else in his path, they've almost kind of set him back a little bit. He's got to be again. This is one of those situations with Kevin Owens that we know for sure he's gonna win. He has to win. I don't know why they're making this big match with only like a 3-week build up. Like really, there should be like a 6 to 8 week build up between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I mean, it just happened a couple weeks ago. It's already time for the match.
I don't even know why either one has to win or lose. It's so non.
Yeah, they could draw this out to a WrestleMania match.
There's just no weight behind it. There's no stipulation. There's no belt. There's no.
The weight behind it is their years-long history. That's the whole point of the story.
But haven't they already done this story?
Of course they have.
So
they've been doing it since Ring of Honor.
It just it doesn't.
And
it's overworked.
And I'm sorry, but if this is the card.
This is the card.
Okay, if I'm a fan in Toronto, I'm pretty like, what am I going to watch?
You're going to watch the main event.
It's 4 matches. One I don't care about right off the bat. The second one, Kevin, whatever. I don't really. To me, that's not a really nice looking. I mean, so this isn't going to be a 2-hour show?
No.
It'll be 3.5.
You think they're going to draw 3.5 hours out of 4 matches?
The Elimination Chambers are going to be 45 minutes each. It'll be just like the Rumble.
It's going to take a long time. I mean, it's going to take 20 or 30 minutes just to get everybody into the ring. And then there's going to be all the high spots.
They'll do commercials. They'll do promotion video. You won't be able to watch the show like this. You won't be able to watch the entrances. They'll do something where you don't see them. That's what they do.
Each one will be its own. Yes, they will do something like that. All right, moving on. Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Did not expect to see Trish Stratus back again.
It's in Toronto.
It's her hometown.
Yeah,
it is, and she'll probably go over because they know how to do a match ending.
So Nia Jax can take another loss?
I mean, or they'll let Candice LeRae take
I don't know about that.
They'll let Candice LeRae take
I can see them losing.
WWE is famous for not letting people in their hometowns win.
I mean, I don't know. I guess my takeaway is I really don't care enough.
I think if anything, Trish might take the pin so that the champion doesn't get pinned.
That's true. Stratton is holding the.
Yeah.
I forgot that Tiffany Stratton is holding the belt right now.
And that'll lead to her match with Nia at she might be facing Charlotte. That's right.
Actually, she is facing Charlotte. Charlotte called her out.
She did
specifically,
okay.
Yeah. So she is going after the WWF.
So yeah,
title
there's no reason for the match then.
I can't.
There's no reason.
Again, it's just filler. I don't know why they felt like they had to put another women's match on the card because equality.
They're doing it for Trish. So yeah, maybe Trish will win.
They did this. I don't know what pay-per-view it was. It was somewhere overseas, somewhere else. They did this where we talked about it on this show. I forget what it is, about how predictable it was going in right into who's going to win every single match. Like, I can look at I know the winner of every single match.
All right, well then let's talk about the next one. The Women's Elimination Chamber match. This is for a shot at the Women's World Championship.
That's Rhea's belt.
Which Rhea Ripley is holding right now. Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Naomi, and Roxanne
Come on,
Perez.
we know who's going to win this one.
I know who you think's going to win.
Yeah,
how can she not win?
He thinks Alexa Bliss.
How can she not win? She had the most. This is where, like, this is where I want to go smash my head up against the wall. This is what's going to get me into a rant. We'll get the rant alert ready. How can you not have the person who had the most reaction pop at the whole show, men and women included, Alexa Bliss, who's been gone for 2 years? She shows up for like 5 minutes at the Royal Rumble. She comes in with number 21. She was out by number 24. And she's out in 5 minutes. And now you're going to throw in this match and she loses again? Come on. She's got to win.
Alexa Bliss is on SmackDown.
That and this past week she was setting up a match with Nia at WrestleMania.
I mean, come on. I'm done watching Nia and Alexa Bliss. This show's been going on for 5 years, and she's been off the show for 2. I can't do it anymore.
I want it to be Alexa, but I think it's going to be either Liv or Bianca.
I'm going to freak out.
I think Bayley.
Oh, well, yeah, they haven't done Bayley versus Rhea, have they? That could happen.
She just was at WrestleMania last year. She just won it. She's getting another shot again.
Well,
If I'm Alexa Bliss, I'm quitting. If Bayley wins, and I'm quitting. I see you later. I'm going to freak out. Okay, our show after. I'm going to literally freak out.
all
if
right.
Alexa Bliss,
All right.
if Alexa Bliss doesn't win and someone else,
You better have a camera on you for live reactions during that show.
this pay-per-view, I don't know if I'm even going to watch. This whole card, I can't see into any of these cards. Don't even get me started on the men's match.
You know,
let's
actually,
hit that now. Because
given their recent history, maybe Roxanne Perez wins.
They do really like her.
And,
They do
Here's what's going to happen. It should be Alexa Bliss, but it's to be Liv Morgan or Bayley who wins. And they've had the title for the last year. That's what's going to happen.
yeah, they might do Liv Morgan.
That's
And do like a
what's gonna
revenge
happen.
thing, and they're gonna keep because they do like beating a horse to death.
Alexa Bliss is the top female going in WWE right now. But let's keep going the other way.
Yeah, let's. So this is for a shot at the undisputed. That's Cody's WWE Championship. Cena, Punk, McIntyre, Paul, Damian Priest, and Seth freaking Rollins.
Not even what we're talking about. Well, John Cena, let's move on.
So I mean,
Done.
it has to be John Cena, right? Like, I mean, are you gonna let Logan Paul win?
I would love to see Logan Paul win. You
mean,
can hate me all you want. I think Logan Paul is great for business and having a title. I think it's great. If they're WWE talking about him showing up at that match against his brother with a WWE belt on would be great for WWE business.
the internet.
And
He did
Dan is
that
all
in
about
one
business.
breath, folks.
The internet does not think
Jeez.
that John Cena is going to win. I think because the internet is trying to come up with all of these ways in which John Cena can be shoehorned into a WWE championship or an undisputed championship main event at WrestleMania. So they're trying to make it like, I mean, because again, Punk and McIntyre and Rollins, they're all involved in different shit, which is pointed towards WrestleMania. So that leaves Paul, who we know is going to get a WrestleMania match. Priest, who can hold the belt, has held the belt, right? But hasn't really been relevant.
The world belt, not the main belt.
Right, but if you can hold one, you can hold the other. At least that's what WWE wants us to believe. And John Cena. So Cena has to win, but I don't know. Why would you keep writing all of these outside storylines if it wasn't so obvious that Cena's going to win? I mean, what do you do to build heat? There are a couple of faces going after a belt. I don't know. That doesn't build a lot of heat. John Cena, the best thing you can do story-wise for John Cena is to have him keep chasing.
I said that before. They can't just give it to him.
Okay,
Make him
so
fight
then
for a couple months. Make it the story interesting.
you know
Not just
Logan
give it to
Paul
him.
is the only heel, out and out heel. I mean, I know Triple H says there's no such thing as heels and faces,
McIntyre.
but
Well,
McIntyre's a heel. Yes.
he's a big
100%.
time. There's only
not
two.
like Logan Paul.
He's not a tweener. Well, no, he doesn't get booed like.
He doesn't get any
But
heat at all.
McIntyre is not a tweener.
McIntyre doesn't. I mean, none of them do the kind of heel
Yeah,
stuff
none
he
of
should
them.
be doing.
There's only
but-
two guys in this match that don't have outlines for the future: John Cena and Logan Paul. We all know what Damian Priest is going to be doing. We all know what Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk. Damian Priest is going to be battling Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. Seth, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns out of a match. So that leaves two guys: John Cena and Logan Paul.
Unless they could throw Swerve and make Punk win, and then he gets his WrestleMania main event. Maybe that was written into his new contract.
I don't know. This is a heck of a one. This one is not nearly as easy to call as the other
This
ones.
going to be fired up. I'm really gonna. I'm gonna come to the show after that really really upset.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be steamed.
Better be here to see it, folks.
I guess I'm rooting for the meteor. Hopefully the meteor comes and takes out the venue.
John Cena's gonna win. I'm hoping Logan Paul wins.
If John Cena wins, are you going to be upset?
Oh, I'm gonna be steamed. But I'm already gonna be steamed over Alexa Bliss, so it's just not gonna be a good situation.
Well, WWE, you've won one fan over. That's for
And
sure.
somehow they can get the
100%. We can
trifecta
guarantee.
and really screw something up with the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. It could be a great show.
All right. Well, tune in next week for
Our show, not
official.
your show.
Tune in to our show next week for official predictions for Elimination Chamber. We'll be able to capture any last-second changes that may happen or updates to the story that might be interesting, and we'll have to see you there next week. Well, episode 70's in the books, guys. How you feeling? Pretty good? Still limber? Still ready for episode 71?
I know Dan did that entire last rant with one breath. It was pretty incredible.
I'm actually feeling really bad for Matt. He's been stuck in the middle here. I got hot over AEW. You got hot over Elimination Chamber.
That was a random getting. I wasn't expecting me to get steamed that quickly by
Hey,
Alexa Bliss. It really hit me hard and quick when I saw that and what could happen.
Yeah, you
there.
really take that personally. We need to get Alexa Bliss down here. on
It's
our
not
table
about
here a
Alexa
little
Bliss.
bit
It's
here.
about the fact that she has everything going right now.
You're gonna get him going again.
I mean, stop.
You're a man of principle. You're a man of principle. I appreciate it. Well, If you
understand
are a
it.
man or a woman of principle, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Get down below. Let us know what you think. Say some nice words to calm Dan down. Give him some goose bar or something. Some
You've
Nirvana
dropped the
bring him
F-bomb like
closer.
6 times. I've been counting it. Okay? Because were getting steamed earlier.
See, now he's getting upset over my language. Guys,
Family fucking friendly.
be nice, guys. We'll catch you
That's
next
on
week.
the 3.
Keep watching. We'll keep wrestling with the business.